Kyle here. I haven't seen that many reviews for the Techt L7 bolt for the 2012 Proto Reflex rail, so I figured I'd make a little review for you guys, and before anybody complains, I can't wait when I get something, so I had actually installed this into the gun, played with the settings, and spent the whole day playing with it out at Extreme in East Windsor, Connecticut. I'm satisfied with the purchase, but some of you may be a little bit more tight on money. What the benefits and gains you get out of the bolt may not suit your taste for the price tag. So I'm going to go through the gun, show you a quick assembly, and show you some feet per seconds. Before we get any further into the gun, I'm going to go outside and let's just take a look at current feet per second in sound levels and see what we got at stock levels. Right now the gun has all the stock components in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a couple off so you can hear what it sounds like, and then I'm going to go behind the camera and check out the feet per second consistency of the stock internals. Right now the gun is set to semi-automatic with an 18 millisecond dwell setting. Also, I'm using cheap Infinity paint, and I've got about 2,000 psi left in my 6845. Let's check out the feet per second consistency. As you can see, the gun's set up a little bit on the high side for feet per second. I think that the Chrono at the field and my personal Chrono at home has a little bit different settings. That could possibly be the case in any circumstance. But this is a cheap one. Whenever I go to the field, I reset it to the field's Chrono, so that way there's no questions as to whether I'm playing fair or not. Let's go in, change out to the Techt bolt, and go from there. Okay. This is the Techt L7 bolt box that it comes in. Nothing fancy, but we'll take out the parts. Alright, you'll notice this piece too. It's a new piece that they sent in with them because the people were receiving chirping sounds with their guns. So Techt included that. If you get one of the old stock ones that were in stock, then you could just give Techt a call and they'll send you one of those pieces free of charge. Also in the case, you'll get this little sticker. It's like a warranty card. It's got the serial number and such on it. Don't lose this. I usually take it and I stick it inside the back owner's manual of the gun. Tape it right in the cover. That way if you have any problems with it, you know where the information is and you don't have to send them through the loop trying to find your information. I'm just going to set this over here. Alright, quick installation. First you're going to undo the barrel off the gun. Set it over here. Take the gun itself, take an Allen key and quickly take the stock bolt out. A couple turns. Stick your finger through the feed neck. Unless there's some threads, grab it and pull straight out. Take the gun, set it over here. Here's the stock bolt. You're going to want to take these two pieces and separate them, like so. Then you're going to want to push this forward and you're going to notice a little tiny blue O-ring. You can either do this with your fingernail or a little pick, but take the blue O-ring off and slide the two pieces apart. Then you're going to want to take this back section here and there's going to be the back cap and the front part of the bolt, or middle part rather. Unscrew that. Somebody's car alarm. Alright, once you get it unscrewed, that kind of comes off fairly difficultly. Set that over here. Now let's take a look at the differences between the bolts. These two parts get reused in the bolts. These parts do not. So what you can see, you can get rid of that. This has a long piece that goes into the back. This part does not. This piece that screws into the back cap gets that far. This part does not. this plug goes into the back cap itself. So you can see there's a lot of weight differences between the two. Not only out of the materials they're made out of, but just out of pieces that they've been able to cut down on. This one's length isn't as long, and this one doesn't have the long tube that goes down into the back cap, and instead it gets plugged off so no air escapes. I think the stock bolt is set at 26 grams for weight, whereas the Techt L7 bolt comes in just over 11 grams. So you can see how much weight difference there is changing them out, and that's going to translate to efficiency later on down the road. So let's get this quickly assembled back together. We're going to take this piece and screw it into your back cap. Now again, I've already been out playing with this, so these are already lubed up. I've already re-lubed it for the day, so we're all set there. So you're going to want to set this over here, take this piece that we're reusing. Oop, still got the O-ring on there. Don't forget to take that back O-ring off. The Techt one is a little bit stiffer than the regular one, so you might need a pick. There we go. Set the pick over here. Slide that on like that. Like I said, all this stuff is already lubed, so you will need to lube it when you get it new, but I've already played with it, so, and I've already cleaned the gun, so I'm not going to put more lube on it. That would just over lube it. Oh, sorry, forgot one thing. Before you screw this in, take this piece right here. O-ring side goes in towards the bolt. So you're just going to slide it into here. Get like an Allen key or something. It's going to snap in. Take this, screw it back in because I'm doing it out of order. This is screwed in like that. And there you go. The bolt is assembled. This, and the O-ring, put in a little Ziploc bag in case you need to reuse it at another time. But for now, we're going to set it over here. Assembly. This is the hard part. You take the bolt. It's a little stiff, but push it in like that. And turn it down with your Allen key. Doesn't need to be real tight, just enough to hold it there. Screw your barrel back in. And there you go. That's all that's needed to actually install the bolt. Like I said, I've already played with this gun. I've already had the Techt bolt installed. So don't criticize me for not lubing it because the thing's already lathered in lube. I don't want to be shooting lube out the barrel next time I go to play. That being said, there's the installation. Besides the feet per second and the dwell, everything else is set. But I'm going to go outside, take a couple more shots, show you the feet per second and the shooting before I make any other changes to the gun, so you can see the difference in feet per second compared to stock to just putting the bolt in without any other changes. This is before I didn't make any changes to the gun just by putting the bolt in. Let's do feet per second. Okay, now that we got a second comparison test with the Techt bolt installed with stock settings, let me go in and try to show you how to make some of the changes. I found that 14 milliseconds works best on dwell, and feet per second, you're going to have to use a chrono to figure that out, but about one turn out, or in rather, brings it right down to where you need to be. Let me show you how that's done. Alright, due to the magic of video editing, I've already removed the barrel from the gun. So, the next thing you want to do is turn to the right side of the gun and remove these 3 screws to change the dwell setting. This is also how you change a lot of the other settings on the gun, but I'm not going to go into all that because that's what an owner manual is for. You're lucky I'm even doing this. Actually, no, I'm just having fun. unscrew these screws. Alright. Then the grip slides forward. Inside the grip, you're going to see a little control switch next to the battery, and it's going to have a 1 and a 2. The 1 should be up if you have your ABS on. The 2 should be in lower position. You're going to take the switch, number 2, and flick it straight up, so that way they're both at the top of the switch. Next, you're going to turn the gun around, and you're going to turn it on. It's going to flip through all the colors, signifying that it's in settings mode. Then you're going to take the trigger, and you're going to pull it till it turns red. That's the dwell setting. When you hold it down, it's going to blink however many times that your current dwell is. Currently I have it set to 18 because that's stock with the stock bolt inside. Once it stops blinking, you're going to hit it 14 times. When it blinks, you know the setting's in place. Then you can flip the gun around, pull out the grip, and take the number 2 and push it back down, not touching number 1. All the colors are going to flick again, and it's going to go back to red. Then you can shut the gun off and put the screws back in. I won't show you that, but now that I've changed the dwell setting, I have to go outside and take another Allen key and stick it in the regulator bottom. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you're on a chronograph and you need to lower the feet per second, tighten it down by turning the Allen key to the right. If you're on the chronograph and your feet per second are too low, turn it to the left. It loosens the regulator and allows more air to get through the gun and to the ball. That being said, I'm going to put this back together, go redo the feet per second, and we're going to get a final testing shot before I come back for my conclusion on the review of the Techt L7 bolt. Now I'm going to get behind the camera and show you a little bit on the feet per second consistency with the Techt bolt installed. After a long day of testing, me and Sebs are tired, would like to watch TV, and make some toaster pizzas. So here's my overall conclusion of the Techt L7 bolt for the Proto Reflex rail. They say that it's going to change the operating pressure from 140 down to 110. Well, I can't say that 110 is where I'm at. I did notice the feet per second jumped highly when I installed the bolt, so I had to turn my regulator down, thus using less air. The other thing that they say is that it will actually change the tone of the gun. Yes, I didn't get a ping, I got a pop. So if you don't like the ping and want to pop, the bolt does that as well. The other thing that it does is it's gentler on paint, since it's using less operating pressure to shoot the paint. So this means you can go along and use a little bit more brittle paint when you're out on the field. Overall though, with the bolt, I'm happy with it, but if you're questioning as to whether to take the money to buy this bolt for your gun, then you shouldn't buy it. Take that money, go buy another box of paint, and have a day out on the field. That's ultimately what's going to make you more pleased with your gun, is more experience. You can have a guy that doesn't know what he's doing behind a gun like this, and a guy that's been playing for 3 years using a Tippmann, and he's going to blow you away. Simple as that. Experience beats mods all the time. So, that's my review. Thank you for watching. This has been a review on the Techt L7 bolt for the 2011 and up Proto Reflex rail.